Hello, and welcome to Chapter 1. We're already off topic. Episode 2. Three women, one podcast, fueled by too much caffeine, anxiety, and snacks. I'm Mary.
Catherine.
I'm Elizabeth.
And tonight we're going to be discussing the first 8 chapters of A Night in the Moth. But first, what is everyone enjoying this evening?
You go? Me go. You go?
Technically, it's both of us. So we're both enjoying this chocolate chip banana
Bread.
bread. Pumpkin bread?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said banana. It's not banana.
It's pumpkin bread.
It's chocolate chip pumpkin bread
Pumpkin bread.
made by Stephen Henderson from up at Commonwealth Silver and Goldsmith. I love how I'm just like, look at it.
It's pretty. I've already gotten into mine, so we're in little pieces now.
We do have different teas though. You said
I have the Raven from Dog Ear Page. Product placement.
I am drinking a chamomile honey vanilla tea.
Oh, look at you, branching into the chamomiles. Proud of
Well,
you.
we're out of all of the dairy,
Okay.
so I was like,
It'll be good for your throat.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was coughing like a psycho today, and Haley, one of our lovely customers, shout out to Haley, she came in. She was like, "Please don't get me sick," and I was like, This has been for like over a month now. I think you're good. This is just lingering. This is just gonna be the pneumonia that takes me out. So, anyway, what are you having, Mary?
Well, we can be tea twinsies because I'm also having chamomile. I'm doing a lavender vanilla chamomile. This one has probiotics in it because tummy doesn't love me right now. Stress. So, and I am having, my son made this really amazing German apple cake, and I'm just tearing it up. So, I am enjoying that this evening.
So I ate my slice of the German apple cake during my tea house shift earlier. And I told Barry this, but I'm going to retell this story. So Dwight, he works the bookstore on Wednesdays, and I'm up at the tea house, and he'll come and say like bye, or he'll like, give me some little story about something funny that happened. Anyway, so he came up and he was talking to me for a little bit, and then he left. And Dwight, he rides a motorcycle, and so he came up like, I want to say like 5 to 7 minutes later, full helmet, the whole deal, backpack, like motorcycle, and I hear him talking to Casey and Steven, but I was like making a ton of teas, so I didn't hear it. And he leaves, and I go back over there like a little while later when it kind of dies down. And I was like, "What did Dwight need?" And they're like, "Oh, he said that he had a lot of extra brownies and cake that he had made, and he wanted to know if we were working tomorrow so that he could bring us some." And I just thought that was just adorable. That like full blown like leathered out Dwight was like, "Let me bring you some baked goods."
I mean, so let Dwight know I'm working tomorrow. I'm not that far away.
I just picture him like, instead of a paper route, he's like on his motorcycle just pulling out baked goods out of his backpack.
He's a good kid.
He's honestly amazing.
He sent me a text before he after he got to the bookstore, that he was like, "Hey, I made it," and then he was like, "Hey, if you get a chance, look at the Ring camera, and you can watch me struggle because the movers came today and it was raining and everything, so I moved my vehicle and he moved his bike out so they could easily like get in and out with all the stuff that they were loading. And he parked his in the garage, which is kind of on a hill. Like,
no.
and so I thought he had backed it in so he could just pull out of the garage, but apparently he just pulled in last night. And so I did pull up the Ring, and I see him like trying to walk it out, and he got to like a spot in the hill and he couldn't make it any further, and he's just like trying to get that bike up, and then I see him like sag, do the Dwight sag, and then he just like gets off and he's just like pushing it up the hill.
Bless his heart.
He made it though. He made it. So back on topic. So Night in the Moth, we've all completed our first 8 chapters. The
Yes.
first 8, that was a great spot to quit because it ends
really
on a
is.
it ends on a freaking like
It ends on a cliffhanger. I was
Yeah.
like, how am I supposed to stop now?
I know. And I was trying not to get too far ahead, so I quit at 8 because I didn't want to get confused and like over talk,
Right.
where we were at. So I'm like trying to stay on target with it. But I was like, what is happening right now? But for those who either haven't read A Night in the Moth or maybe just don't know anything about it or whatevs, one, there will be spoilers. So if you're listening, we're going to spoil the shit out of this book. Just be aware if you.
At least the first 100 pages.
In this
will be
episode.
spoiled in this episode.
But Catherine will be, so everyone can be up to speed. She's going to very enjoyably, very entertainingly read the synopses for us.
Do you remember when I had to do this for romance book club when Reagan was leading it?
Oh my God, yeah.
And I had to like read them so they could decide on one.
I think they were far more entertaining when they were the romance ones because they were like a lot of them were like Hallmark, like some of them were like a cross between Hallmark cheesy and then others were just like dirty cheesy, like corny cheesy.
Can she resist the pull of the baker from down the lane?
Drury Lane.
Right? Okay. Okay. Oh. All right. You're like, let it out. Let it out. I was fine until I had to actually read something. Okay. Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the Stonewater Kingdom's windswept moors and craggy
Right.
mountains to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, because of course, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them, for the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answer she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. Ooh. I don't know. I'm just saying, after meeting Roderick, okay, like, what is it that, what is it that they said? Oh, like I don't know if he's all that mysterious. Because they're like a mysterious Dark Knight. I don't know if I would necessarily say he's
Well,
mysterious.
I think when we first meet him, he doesn't come across as super mysterious. He comes across as like grumpy,
Yeah.
But now at the end of chapter 8, you're like, what the F?
Like,
Yeah.
now he's a little mysterious.
Yeah, now-
I think what made him mysterious was the dream for me, because I was like, because as we're kind of going through, he just seems like you said, overall just a little like irreverent, I guess, to it. Like, he doesn't really have any sort of, he seems to have some disdain, honestly, for the whole practice. And then, because he like walks out of the dream, or when the king's getting his dream, and then he, he seems to be kind of like mocking towards Sybil. What do we call her now? Do we call her
Yeah,
Sybil,
so
or do we call her
Technically
Six?
6. So she
But
has
then,
a name.
but then he like gives her the idol weed, and he like seems like already in the first 8 chapters, he seems like he's like, it's very clear he's genuinely like not a bad dude. So, like, I don't know, like
Yes.
grumpy.
I don't
want to
feel
go as
that
far as
this
say
is.
golden retriever, but like German Shepherd.
Yeah, I don't feel that this is enemies to lovers, because they're not necessarily enemies, in my opinion. I think that he just doesn't like her situation and doesn't like her beliefs, but I wouldn't say that he sees her as an enemy at this point. I feel like it's close to Pride and Prejudice, where people are making snap judgments based off of the things that they're doing and seeing. But now that we're here on chapter 8, it seems like he might actually be trying to help her. And I feel like he has a lot of answers to the questions that we have. And I just want to know what he knows at this point.
Fair. I'm interested. I'm sorry. You know what? You say things.
Well, way to put me on the spot. No. So,
Sorry.
again, for those that maybe aren't up to speed on the book, so we're introduced at the very beginning to Sybil, which is her name that she's born with, but she was chosen. Did you guys understand? Was it as a child? Is that the impression you got?
Well, hold on.
I think.
She's been there 10 years. How old is she now?
Like, I got the impression she was like either, like maybe early
say?
20s.
Because what? Would she have been chosen? Like, ew, that sucks. Does that mean that like little 10-year-old Sybil was like getting drowned?
Drowned all the time.
Yeah.
But so
Oh.
that's my impression, is she was chosen as a child, that all the diviners are sort of chosen as children. And there's 6 of them, and she's the 6th. So they all just go by a number. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she's 6. So they live in a cathedral. There's like gargoyles that help out and are like animated. Only one of them talks, and that's Bartholomew, who also calls everybody Bartholomew, and it's actually really cute. And then the abbess oversees everybody, and she's sort of like the head lady, and she's in charge of the diviners and like doing these visions. The diviners, they sleep and then like dream, and these
But it's
dreams
not,
are like
right?
omens. But yeah, they're like drowned, so they're like unconscious. So like they basically put them in this water, and the abbess just drowns them. And they do it like all the time. Like it sounded like one of the days she was getting drowned like a couple times during the day. Like it's constant, because that's how the abbess makes her money. She takes money for them to do these readings, basically, of the omens.
And don't they like cycle through? So
Yeah.
like 2 of them will be doing dreams
Yeah,
one
and
day.
6 is like the abbess's favorite, so she gets used the most, and she's kind of treated as a favorite or a special. And so the omens, Elizabeth probably can explain them better, because she's the one who kind of explained them to us at dinner the other night. But it was like, so there's 6 omens, which is, I think, the significance of like the 6 diviners as well. And there's like the 6 omens, and each have their own like little thing that they carry. There's a stone, and there's a coin, and then there was some other stuff.
Time.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
really real. We were talking about this, like kind of like a little pre-chat at dinner last night. And I realized through that discussion, it became very clear to me that I was just vibing as I was reading and not internalizing certain things. Because Elizabeth's bringing stuff up, and I'm like, she goes, I just want to know how, because Mary hadn't finished it. This was at the bookstore. And she goes, I just want to know how. And like, I'm looking at her and I'm like,
And I couldn't say anything because Mary hadn't finished it. And we were literally talking about the very end, the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger was the topic.
I was like, how, what? And
And
she
I'm
was
like,
like,
that's
how?
part of the cliffhanger.
It made me pay a ton of attention reading those last couple pages. But then I'm like reading them, and I'm like, that's when I started texting you, because I'm like, what the hell are you, like, what are you on? Because like, I'm not, what am I missing? Am I dumb?
I thought I was so stupid.
So just to clarify, so at the end, we're just going to jump to the end, page 99. Yes, page 99. We find out, okay, so a little bit before this, we find out that the girls are missing. We know that's going to occur because of the synopsis that she read from the book. Girls are going to go missing.
Yeah.
Well, they go missing.
They go missing
6
one at a time.
Yeah, they are missing one at a time.
And now we're down to just 6 left.
And so the cathedral is locking it down. I mean, they're like, you know what? No one can get off the premises.
Oh, wait a minute.
We're
I think
going to
I
lock
get
the
it.
doors. We're going to put bars on the windows. We're going to have a gargoyle outside of your door. So when we get to the last one, the 6th one, and we find out that Rory has gotten into her room to save her, we hope.
He catches a little stone.
Well, I was like, how did he get
The
in the room?
stone.
There's bars on their door. There's gargoyles protect them. The room is locked. And I literally, that was my question was, how did he get in the room? And she wasn't picking up what I was putting down because she was just vibing. She was just, all she knew is he was in the room, right? And I'm
He's
like,
there.
Catherine. So if you look at page 99, it describes how he gets into the room,
Okay.
which is not normal.
Yeah, I'm reading it. So it says,
Night came.
night came.
Nighttime.
The moon. I don't need to read that. Hold on. The moonlight in the window disappeared, swallowed by a shadow, a moving shadow. I sat up slowly. The shadow belonged to an object. I couldn't make it out, only that it was small, a stone perhaps. Then, gods, I was losing my mind because the object began to fall, and a moment later, as if the iron balls blocked balls, the iron bars blocking my window
I'm like, poor Rory.
were nothing but a suggestion. A man stepped into the room and caught it. His back was to me, his shoulders stiffened when his boots crunched over shards of the broken mirror. He stood over the blood on the floor, hissed out an exhale. I crashed into him, knocking both of us onto the floor. Glass sang and scattered. Who are you? I thought I heard the faintest notes of a laugh. He reared, fast and sudden, and then it was me who was falling, catapulted backward by the momentum of his body, my spine slamming onto one of the mattresses. He was on top of me in a second, pinning my wrists above my head. Oh, God, I don't think I remember that. Dark eyes roved my face, his mouth turning in a distinct, familiar sneer. Well, if it isn't my least favorite diviner. Okay, so that is questionable.
So
that is
Rory got into the room, and how he did it is very sus.
I
So-
also feel like that was weirdly sexual. Like I
Well,
feel like
they've got
It's a
there's,
romance.
there's a lot of chemistry.
There's
It was 99 pages in.
yearning.
They definitely have chemistry. So the stone, is he an omen?
the
Is he a
question.
god?
So that is the question. If you go to, I think
I still
page
want to know which
18.
which one lifted her. Was it one or was it like five? Who lifted her shroud?
That was one.
So all the girls
Four
were in
was gone
shrouds.
first, then the others were gone. It was just 1 and 6 that was left. 1 lifted her shroud to look at her eyes. 6 did not look at her.
Wait, I thought that was when there were 3 left. Not the 2.
No, there's just the
It
two
was-
left.
It was just
the
two.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so all the diviners have to wear shrouds that cover like their eyes, and they have never seen their, even for themselves, they never see their own
I
eyes.
want to know what their faces look like because remember she was like,
Right, that's what I want to know too, because she like freaked out, and I'm
I wonder
like,
if it's like a farmer's tan situation.
well, I kept thinking, I'm like trying to figure it out because I think the abbess is like bad news, like the gargoyle even calls her a bitch, right? Like I think she's a whole problem, and I'm like, is she sucking the soul? Like, is every time they dream, is it stealing some of their life? Like, is it like decayed? Are they turning to stone? Are they becoming gargoyles? Is that where the gargoyles came from? Are they previous diviners? Like, what if they're turning to stone underneath the shrouds?
Dude, this is awful, but like what? For some reason, like when at first she got freaked out, I was like, what if she lifted it and she just had like super crossed eyes? Sorry. We're being serious. I do feel like your theory about them turning into the gargoyles was interesting.
I'm not sure what's happening. I want to know.
No.
I'm ready to know. I mean, I'm probably not going to find out till the end of the book, but like, I'm
The
ready.
gargoyles have such a big, like even when she goes into the cafeteria to like try and get them to like take them to was it the fair or whatever, like Rory was kind of like going back and forth with her, and like that one gargoyle showed up and was kind of like ready to like defend her, and then you see like even I want to call him Bartholomew because he calls everybody else Bartholomew, but her gargoyle.
I think his name is Bartholomew. He just also calls everybody else Bartholomew.
Okay, cool. Well, Bartholomew, I do feel like he, you know, like he's the only one that can talk, but like he has a very vested interest in her too, and I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know
He's very attached to her.
because he was like
So-
I was told,
But he's
that-
also, I think it's interesting, he's the only one that talks, and there's got to be a significance to that.
And it's interesting because if you go back to page 17 and 18, the first time that Six does her divination for the king, you get to hear the story that they all know and worship. You know, this is the building blocks. This is the abbess telling her story. Now, Rory, or Roderick, aka Rory, before this even begins,
I just
he's
call him
like,
Rory because
it's
Roderick, all I
easier.
can think of with Roderick is like, what were those like the kids' books? And his name was Roderick. It was like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I think of that. Was it Roderick? I can't remember. Roderick, no. Was
I
it
can't take
Roderick?
it seriously. Like it's not like to me, I'm not like ooh Roderick, but like I'm like I can get down with Rory, but like Roderick, no,
Rory's cool.
yeah,
I
Rory's
like
like the male Gilmore Girl.
Rory's like he's an interesting guy because like I so far now granted we're only 100 pages in but like he's kind of interesting because he's not really reminding me of any other MMCs thus far. I mean I guess we'll see how the story
Well,
goes but
I like when you first kind of got introduced to him, you texted out and you were like, I want to know why he has so much disdain for the diviners. But then later, I was like, I felt like he doesn't disdain them. I feel like he hates what they're being put through. Like he hates the drowning because he walked out of the king's divination. He didn't want to see it at all. Like he stayed out. And then when he had to do his own, when like there's that bet, and then he had to get, his omens read and
and I
have
find that interesting that was what they chose for him for his lost
I
bet.
know. And then so he did that. And he was clearly did not want to have that happen either. And I don't think it was the like it doesn't come across that he's necessarily against the omens and what they mean. It's more like he hates what they have to go through to read them and he thinks it's ridiculous.
So this is important to note. Going back, page 16, when he walked out. Do you remember? The abbess is talking, she's beginning her story, and she says, until one night, one dark, lonely night, when the air was so cold it painted the sky in incomparable purple hue. 6 gods visited Trom, and that is when Rory scoffs. He goes, a scoff echoed through the cathedral. Armor rattled and low voices sounded. Then one of the knights was pushing away from a pew, his steps loud on the stone floor. He shoved the cathedral door open, evening light filtering through the dark hair, and over 3 gold bands in his right ear. The knight from the road. He cast one baleful look over his shoulder and then kicked the ancient wood door shut behind him. So as soon as the abbess had mentioned 6 gods visiting them, he was like, I'm out.
That's
And
what I would
left.
do if I was a god.
So that might be a clue because at the end we're like, okay, what is going on? We didn't know there were shadow daddies in this little whole thing. So what is this? Is he an omen? Is he a god? Because the omens are technically separate. So let's see.
Well, and I'd like to know. I feel like it's important that when she was doing his divination, and she drowned, and she's supposed to be the best one, right? She's the one who always gets them right. She can read them really well, and y'all okay?
Did we both do the same thing?
There was a noise.
I was like, is there a serial killer? Do
There was
you
a
have a
noise
shadow daddy?
outside, and it was someone trying to crank their car, but
It wasn't cranking
it wasn't
very well.
cranking.
So we were like,
And I was like, what sort of creature is dying? But then like the car came to life, and I was like, got it. It was a car. We're cool. We're back.
we're fine.
We're back. Go ahead.
But when she goes to do his like the dream for him, she like doesn't get the omens. She just gets. It's not a blank slate, but it's like I can't even remember.
She doesn't see anything of the actual coin
Yeah.
or the inkwell or the stone.
And in her dreams usually the omens are like statues, like stone statues. But when she dreams this time, they're girls, they're human girls. And they're like, were they dead or were they drowning or like I don't know.
Well, she
But
saw them kind of in that river thing, the waterfall river. And so I feel like they were just kind of shimmers, like a hologram, think like a little hologram thing that she was kind of seeing. It was just a vision within a vision. Does that make sense?
yeah. But she like never got the omens. But then she went right back because afterwards, she went and talked to the abbess and she was like she had the moth over her face. And that was like all her dream was really was this moth. And she talks to the abbess and she talks about isn't the moth like a death omen? And the abbess sort of blows her off and is like, you know, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about all the things you're not supposed to be doing. Like
And the
going
abbess
to
does talk
prepare.
about the omens. She says the omen who bore a stone coin, so that's one, is the child named the Artful Brigand. The omen fitted with the inkwell was christened the Herod Scribe. The omen who wielded a stone oar was called the Ardent Oarsman. The faithful forester carries the chime. And the heart sore weaver employs her sacred loom stone. But the sixth omen bore no stone object. It revealed nothing of itself at all, appearing only as a pale moth on tender wing. Some
So,
say it shows itself the moment you are born. Others believe it comes just before you die. Which is true, we cannot know. We
so,
may read their signs, but it is not our place to question the gods.
so she saw the moth over her eyes. And my theory so far, we're gonna go in, we'll probably get proven super wrong, but my theory so far is that she is an omen, god, whatever. She's the sixth with the moth.
I agree, and I do feel like
And
he is something.
and I think so like I think she might be dead because in the very first before chapter 1 starts, you get like that little like this little this little bit
Read
right
it.
yeah.
Read it.
And so it's like the story Bartholomew, but remember Bartholomew calls everybody Bartholomew. Okay?
The gargoyle.
Yes. So I think this is the gargoyle speaking, talking because at first I thought it was somebody talking to the gargoyle. But now I think it's the gargoyle telling the story. And it's like, the story, Bartholomew, though you do not remember it. I'll tell it to you the best I can and promise to be honest in my tale bearing. If I'm not, that's hardly my fault. To tell a story is in some part to tell a lie, isn't it? And the reason I think it's the gargoyle is because he says that at least one other time, it might have even been twice, already in the first 8 chapters. He specifically tells Sybil, or Six, that to tell a story is to tell a lie. And I almost wonder if we have an unreliable narrator situation in our gargoyle friend, because he's saying he's telling her the story, but he's also telling her a lie. But like, who's he talking to? He tends to only talk to Six. I think he's talking to Six, and I think it's because she's dead. That's my unhinged theory of the night.
Or conversely, what if? And this is probably going to sound dumb, but what if this is like forever ago? Like forever ago, and it was like, let's just say Bartholomew was being talked to, and this is Bartholomew, and someone was talking to him, and or her, and then they said that to him to tell a story, and then he like internalized it and started saying that himself. Like
Yeah.
what? Because what if Bartholomew? Because if there's a working theory that the diviners become gargoyles, which we don't know, then what if that was told to Bartholomew before Bartholomew
It's sort of,
became a
for
gargoyle?
me, it's giving me flashbacks to Rebecca Yarros, and at the very beginning of every single of the Fourth Wing books, she puts in there that it's being transcribed by the scribes from the old or to like whatever the language is now. From that,
Meaning that what we're
Meaning that
reading
they're
now
all
is the
dead.
past. We're reading a
right,
history book.
right. And so I'm like, is that what's happening? Are we getting an old story? But I want to know. So all of the girls are disappearing, right? 5 of the girls have now disappeared. We don't know what has happened to them or where they've gone. What are your all's theories on what's happening to the girls? Where are they?
I have no freaking clue, because what's getting me about that is that there, and you brought up the possibility of them getting like some sort of, in a way, I guess drugged in a way, but like because they couldn't stay awake. But
Yeah,
I think what
they
really
only
just
disappeared after they would
they
go to
fell
sleep.
asleep.
And they
But
kept
what
trying to stay awake all night. But every night they couldn't manage it. They'd always fall asleep, and then next thing you know, they'd wake up and one of them was missing. And I'm
and
like,
it
well,
has to be a super deep sleep. It has to because the fact that they were even like when it was like the last three, like they were all like cuddled up on the same bed, and like their beds aren't that big because they're all the beds are in one room. So I'm like they can't be like super huge beds. So you're gonna feel another person like right up on you. Like how do you not tell that one someone enters the room, especially if it's a locked room, and two that like someone is being removed. So like something's got to be like
well,
happening that's
And
and
I,
Six
I
talks about
beyond
like
practicality.
all the things she's doing to stay awake. She's pinching herself till there's bruises all over her body trying to stay awake, and she's still going to sleep every night.
And she knows immediately when someone is not there because she can tell the temperature in the room is colder because there's one less body there. And that occurs each time. When she wakes up, she knows they're not there or someone is not there because it's just colder.
So do we think the girls are dead? Do we think they're being like stolen away?
I feel like
Who's
the abbess
killing 'em?
knows. Because
Is it
she's,
the abbess? Is it the
I think the
king?
abbess knows.
Well, I mean,
Because the king, I think there is a significance that the king got all those bad omens too. I like the king, although, and I feel like we might get a found family situation because Maud is super cool the other night.
they all seem really cool, and they seem really cool with him for him to be the king.
Right, they're
Yeah.
very close. They kind of act like maybe he wasn't, like he was a commoner or he was like a knight. Like he wasn't like
Always
I'm,
a king.
I'm born
Yeah.
to be a king. You know, he was like very much like a man of the people.
He's one of the guys.
Yeah, just one.
Which
of
is
the
wild that he got all those bad omens then, because he seems pretty chill. Like,
Right. So like, why does he have all these bad omens? And
and
why
the
does no
abbess
one?
freaking hates
and-
him, obviously. Like,
and-
she's not
yes,
his fan.
she hates him. Like, I feel like that's like a political thing. Like for whatever reason, she don't like him. And then also, he doesn't give two f's that he got a bunch of bad omens. He's like, let's go party and smoke some.
Idleweed and steal some of the water.
Right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like I thought that, and I thought it was interesting. I thought it was because this is another. I'm like, you're a king, homie. I think that I'm like, do you just forget that? Because I find it interesting that for one, Six felt so comfortable to bust into the cafeteria and like demand that they get taken to the fair.
Well,
Like
because she
she met
knew-
these people once,
Well,
and
one,
twice.
They've been raised. I will say they've been raised this whole time as being like these holy beings that are to be like wowed and respected and like like ooh. But also she caught him drinking the water, which was like a big no-no. Because
Yeah.
that's what they did. They blackmailed him into taking them because she was like, well, I won't tell anybody you drank the water.
And but like it was just it almost just seemed like comfortable because like was she like I don't know because I feel like a king like and now granted like you said a lot of it has to do with her station but like I just feel like it was super informal for him to be a king like
Well, I think it's weird too that so like I have
and I mean obviously he is a king that's not what I'm saying but
Yeah.
he seems like super chill.
Well, based,
Well, and
based off of our own history, like even Henry VIII had a hard time just getting divorced. You just had to kill them all. So, you
But
know,
I have two things where I'm like one is that when Six dreams, at least a couple of the dreams that we are aware of, she kept seeing shadows within her dream, and she felt like she was being watched. And I feel like that's Rory. I could be
and
wrong.
she heard that crack, crack, little clack,
Yeah.
clack, almost
If
like a
it's-
stone rolling.
If it's not Rory, then I feel like it's the abbess, and it's like a bad thing, and like something with the abbess. But the other thing too is,
Could the abbess be manipulating the dreams?
I don't know, maybe
Because I find like
because why did he get all the bad omens?
well, right, and
but then Rory didn't get any omens.
exactly because
But
she
I don't.
wasn't there.
But you know what, Elizabeth, last night at dinner, you had a really good observation where, so like when they do the dreams, they drink the blood and they say the name of the person that they're supposed to be divining. But you said she said the name, but or she never said his name. She asked his name, he gave it, but instead of repeating it, he asked her name, and she never said her name either. But she kept thinking
She
her name
thought
in
her
the
name.
head. So what if it's her omens? It's
Yeah.
her divination,
Her, yeah.
not his.
So just
I
like,
feel like
Catherine's face.
well, you said that last night. Was I?
You were at the dinner table.
you were
with her.
there.
I'm not-
vibing. You were vibing with us.
I was like, heck yeah, maybe it was. We don't know. Wow. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that makes makes my theory sound dumb.
Also,
Like,
so at the end, so we learned that the girls were all at the end of their service. They served 10 years, and then they're supposed to be like released into the wild, right?
is this
But-
what happens at the end of 10 years? They just disappear.
well, that's what I'm wondering, because like you would think she's met the knights. The knights are like, you know nothing of like the other towns and whatever. I don't
But
know
then
what
why
they're
would
called.
she give them jobs? I
And
guess
so
just for
he's like, he's kind of disdainful to her of like, you don't know anything else. You know nothing about the country. You know nothing, like you can't really say anything because this is all you know. But nobody acts like they've seen a diviner outside of the cathedral, really.
would you
Well,
know?
And you got to remember Bartholomew's questioning and talking to Six before she did the divination for Rory.
He said she'd never leave.
Page 75, Bartholomew, the gargoyle, says, I pay attention to many things, Bartholomew. I am the most observant creature I know. And then Six replies with a bit of a moot point, you telling me a story of life outside of Isley? Something, yeah.
Isling?
Isling? I don't know. But, the gargoyle's like, why? And then she goes, because you have never lived beyond this place, and you never will. His face twisted as if he had not considered that. Neither will you, is his reply. And then she goes, but I am leaving, Gargoyle. We all are. Our tenure will end, and the abbess will bring new foundlings to divine in our stead. You know that. He goes, oh, I see. He was upset. His bottom lip was trembling, and so were the tips of his wings. Anyway, she goes on to describe like how upset he is, and then she's basically like, there.
So that's like a merry response. Like
Sorrows.
sorrows. Anyway.
So, but the gargoyle is kind of implying things like he is very observant, he knows things, basically telling her she's not going to leave, and she has to remind him, oh, yes, I am. So it's the question is, what does he know? What does he remember? And he even has, throughout this conversation, he's talking to her.
Oh, he said it right there. To tell a story is in some part to tell a lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know only one story besides. The one with the tragic beginning and the desolate, interminable middle.
And he goes, I will tell you the story I know someday, Bartholomew.
He's telling it right now.
Would
This is
that,
the story he's telling.
and then he goes, would that we were living one of your tales instead. Would that things were different for you and me.
See,
I feel like doing it this way, reading it like however many chapters at a time, is really going to make us understand it by the end.
Yeah.
Because if I was just straight up reading this and not dissecting it, I don't think I would have.
it would have been midnight in the Blackbird Cafe. You would have been like, what do you mean? The people are cats.
For those who don't know the story, so we lead a book club here at the Dog-Eared Page, and we read, book club, and like we love book club. And what had happened was we read a book called Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. Heather Weber. It's a great book. You should read it.
Really
But
adorable, very cozy.
very cozy.
Good for
And-
this time of year.
Yeah, great this time of year. Well, this was actually the second time I had read it, because I had read it before on my own, and then it got picked for book club, so I read it again, did a reread. Okay, that's a very important point. I read it twice, 2 times, dose, and so at the book club meeting, I'm just asking the questions, like like you do. And like a question comes up about the cat and the bird. If you haven't read this, you don't know about the cat and the bird, but you will if you decide to read it. And someone, I can't remember who,
Spoiler.
was like, what? Oh yeah, spoiler. I don't really know if it's like, I don't really know if it's like a super. I don't know if it's necessarily relevant to the plot, considering I didn't even pick up on it for two different readings. But someone was like, it took me a while to realize that so and so and so and so were the cat and the bird. They were shape shifting into the cat and the bird, and my whole life stopped.
Where did you think the
The book-
magical realism of the
It's
magical
magical
realism
realism.
book was?
And
The
that was really
pie.
the only part.
The pie. You see like the dead people with the pie in your dreams.
Okay. I mean,
And the blackbirds that came to the tree
But
outside.
everyone was just like,
The
how did
magic
you
in the
miss
pie.
that, Catherine? How
it
did
was
you-
very clear that they were the.
And I was like, I'm sorry. What? And they were like, yeah, they were the cat and the bird. And I'm like, I was wondering why that cat was leading her down that road. And then they were like, well, you didn't
You're
realize
like, why
that.
do they keep putting in a cat?
And then they were like, well, you didn't notice that when so-and-so came into the cafe for her shift or something like that, she had like a feather in her hair that she pulled out or whatever. And I was like, I thought she was just weird. I don't know. Like, and like, I really enjoyed the book. Read it twice. Did not pick up on the shapeshifters at all. So, yeah. And they were actually a pretty pivotal part because they like witnessed some wreck that was apparently important, and it was they were doing this as like a
They got things done.
they did like they were trying to like I don't know if it was like a penance type situation, like they were trying to like make up for the fact that they felt like they were involved and whatever, but I did not.
I feel like you are not a Swiftie that would like pick up on the Easter eggs.
No, honestly, when people like say they're like, you know, the clock on the wall that was like at the very back of the music video, and I'm like, dude, maybe it was just a clock. But like, but then like turns out, you know, and then like when she was on the freaking podcast, she was on that New Heights podcast with them because she announced like her album or whatever. They were like noticing all of the little Taylor Swift things that were like on the shelf. They were like, this means this and this. I was like, I didn't even realize there was a shelf like behind them. Like I wasn't even looking at that. Like they could have had
Did you read Throne of Glass?
me personally. Oh shoot, sorry. I'm kind of reading Throne of Glass. I've read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I am reading Air of Fire. We've met Rowan. The punch has happened.
You're not far enough. I was like, have you picked up on any of those Easter eggs? But you're not far
Uh-uh.
enough to really get them yet.
It just like I need to keep going with it. The first two are slow.
They are slower, but you're gonna see. You're at the book. It starts to shift, where I feel like she starts.
Rowan is mean.
You love him anyways. She deserved to be punched. It's fine.
That's true.
And is he blonde?
He's got
He's
white
like
hair.
white.
Oh, he's white hair. That's right. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, he's.
Very Danny Phantom.
So she finds, this is the first series she wrote, and I feel like you see a shift tonally in the books where I feel like you start to see where she finds her voice, and the books start to feel like how she wrote ACOTAR, and even how she wrote Crescent City.
See, I haven't read Crescent City either. I'm really, I'm bad at my.
And
There's
by
so- there's
by
so
the
many.
last books especially, they're very Moss.
I'm also
Kingdom
like,
of Ash just.
I also don't
just
know how I
his-
feel about doing
Kingdom of Ash, I remember reading. Chuck was working from home, and he would be like in his office doing meetings or working or whatever, and I would sit in the room with him and read Kingdom of Ash, and it's like a honking book, right? So I'd like be in there just like reading every day. The amount of times I would be in there like just sobbing, and y'all have met me. I'm not a big crier. It takes a lot. I was in there just like crying, and he'd be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm having such a good time."
See, this is where it's going to be bad for me because I cry.
You're going to bawl
Easily.
like a little baby.
Oh, you're
Easily
gonna
when you get
cry.
to that book.
I
I
cried
bawled.
really hard, and then I cried again when I finished it because it was over. Like I cried because it was over, and
I
it's
need
such a
to-
big investment of your time reading all of those books. It's such a huge series, and you're wrapped up in it for so long. I mean, I was having trouble I kept ordering the books from you, and someone in Danville was reading them at the same time I was, at the exact same pace, because I could never seem to get my books.
Wouldn't that be funny if it was?
I do remember that.
And so she'd order it and it'd be like, gone. Or I'd like come in to get the next one, gone, every time.
Well, that's how I got this book. I bought it like on a Sunday when you're not open, and then I'm like
Then
rifling
Brian
through it.
came
Then
in.
Brian's like, I'm looking for this book, and I was like,
You were like, this one right here?
this one, the last one.
So it took me,
I love that. Like, he even talked about that today. And the way he described it was like you were flaunting it. Like this one right here.
I was like,
This one.
this one.
would you like,
Did you want this book? Well, you can't have it.
you're like,
At least not today. No, I do want to finish reading Throne of Glass. It's just been, I think like my TBR is at a level, and I feel like a lot of people say this, and so like I'm not trying to make it sound like an excuse, because it's not. But there's so many books that I feel like I have to read just to even stay on top of like what is popular like to have here that like it feels a little daunting. Like, and sometimes I feel like I have to read so much that like I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna read something that no one will read and just sit here and enjoy it. And so I it's like a little rebellious act, but
well, I don't have to do it for like the same reasons, but I do get where I'll be reading a lot of the same thing, and I'm like, I want something super different, and that's when I started reading like.
That would be nonfiction for me.
Yeah, it is. It's usually like it's like the morbidly curious books. It's like nonfiction, but I don't like I don't want to be like self-helped.
Yeah.
Like
I
can't
can't
help me. It's fine. But
do self.
and I usually don't like memoirs. I've had a few. One of my favorite books of all time was actually a memoir. It was Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. But it's one of the few memoirs that I actually really, really liked. I'm not a big memoir girly. I'm just not.
My mom loves biographies. But see, she's really into music, so she likes to get ones of like. So mom is weird because she likes musicians and she likes like historians. Like she loves like the Tudors. She's really interested in the Tudors.
I did get very into the Tudors for a long
Oh,
time.
you and her could vibe then, because she.
I also got very into like Russian, like the Tsars of Russia, like that whole era up until the revolution, and was like I read a lot of that time frame, both nonfiction and fiction based in that time. Ken Follett did a whole series, and it was about the whole world, like the Fall of Giants series, but it covers a lot of that was happening in Russia, as well as what was happening in all the, because it covers all the world wars. And so it's a fantastic series, but I don't know, Russian history to me is really interesting because I'm like, those poor people have been through so much.
It's true. Back on topic.
Back on A Night in the Moth.
Bringing it back. Does Rory remind anybody else of anybody yet? Is he giving? I don't feel like he's an interesting little bird, because like I feel like he's grumpy but like nice, like reluctantly so. I don't know how he's like here's some idleweed to help with your nausea.
He's Mr. Darcy
But-
offering his hand.
But it's just because I don't want you to puke on my
little-
boots.
He also, I think he's the one who caved to take them when she said please, when she turned back and said please when she asked him to take him to the fair, and he was like no and real grumpy about it, and then she turned back and said please, and then she said his face softened, and then he left. My favorite moment though, my little
The look?
my kick my feet moment
Yeah.
was when the king was like, yeah, next we're gonna do the pretty one, and everyone looked to 4 because she was sort of the slutty one of the group, and he was looking at her dead in her eyes. I was like, oh,
That's
like
one of my favorite parts.
I feel
Yes.
like it's
you can't even
giving.
see your face.
So here's my thing: if she is the 6th omen, or if she's what, and he is something, like he's not just a knight, obviously. Like, is this like, you think they're like fated? Like, you think it's like a mate situation?
I hope not. I'm not. I'm a little burnt on the mate. I mean, not burnt. I'm just like, I
See,
don't want
that's
to
how
see
I
mates.
feel. So I'm
I don't
like, I
want to.
wonder how that's gonna.
I want them to organically like
Well,
actually like each other, not be fated by
And
some
do you think
outside
he's
force.
like a million?
I
What if
hope
she's
not.
like what if she's an omen and she just gets like reincarnated or
So
something? What if she's like,
I'm kind of wondering. I mean, the book's title is The Night, someone, and the Moth. So I feel like she's the moth.
And he's the knight. Yeah.
Yeah. The question is, the moth is kind of
It's a
symbolized
different.
as death. We just don't know,
We're
is
really
that
thinking
something you
outside the
see
box.
before birth or after? And then her vision, later on, like her vision is kind of like the kingdom is doing well, except for where she's living. She sees the rest of the kingdom in vibrant colors. But when she looks at the cathedral, it's very dull, very, not vibrant. And as she is going through her vision, it becomes dark. And I wonder if this is just kind of the beginning of the downfall of their religion, basically. Is she going to be the one to bring that about? Because remember, she went to the abbess and she told the abbess her vision. And the abbess just kept that to her thoughts and didn't
I know.
even.
She never even
You
Didn't
know
addressed
even
what I'm
address it.
wondering? And I might be totally off base. What if this is? Have you read from Blood Ash?
I have not.
What if she's like a
Tell me to learn.
poppy?
it. Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Because like Poppy, like she was like a descendant, basically, right?
Well, she was
Or
maybe
not a
reincarnated, wasn't she? She has like a piece of a soul. She has a piece of the soul of Seraphina, maybe.
No,
Or-
because Seraphina shows up later.
I don't know.
You
It's
see
been a minute.
But I see where
It's
you're
been a
going.
minute,
with
and
the
I switched
reincarnation
gears,
thing.
and I was reading the Flesh and Fire series because I actually started liking it better as the books. Like,
But like,
I
so
don't-
you have Poppy, who was like, she had a shroud. Like
she's she's a level of God. I just don't know what level she is. Is she like a uber god or is she like a lower god?
Well, the longer the series goes, she just gets more and more like insane. Like it's like first she's like, "Oh, I got powers," and then it's like, "Oh, I got all the powers." Like it just like keeps like expanding, and then she's like, "Oh, I can drop everybody like right now." Like it just and she just gets. Because, like, I think, like, what is it, like, the top levels?
like
Like,
Goku.
I
in
quit
Dragon Ball
reading.
Z.
So I
'Cause
quit
you
reading
like
the
a god,
Blood
and
and
you're like a
Ash
primal.
when there was like the threesome situation. I made it to that
Yeah.
part. I made it to that through that book, and then I think I don't. I don't know
I
that I
didn't
read
really
it.
understand that. It was kind of icky. I didn't know, like, I don't mean icky like it read icky. I mean icky like, because Cass had been so, but then again, I'm not a why choose girly, but like,
I felt like it was just
Cass
a
had
give
been
the fans
very,
what they want moment because the fans really wanted it.
and I didn't feel like it was genuinely leading that way. And then she was like, surprise! Like, it just didn't,
Because they were
like,
like friends.
they were friends. And I'm like, now
Now
it's
it's
weird. Like, I
I
don't, like,
gotta
I
look at
don't
him
know.
all the time.
It was just weird. And
You
Kaz
know
had been,
what he looks like.
and Kaz was like so territorial over her, and I'm like, and this is why I struggle with the why choose, because I'm like, but like not with him. I don't get it. I don't know.
Circling back to this, okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's on topic but off topic because
That's fair.
it's this book, but like, did anybody else? So when you're reading this, you get to learn that the diviners, even though they're like super religious creatures, whatever, but they can still like have sex and like do
Lay in
things
the grass.
lay in the grass, do the things they want to do, and all of them seem to experience that to some degree at some point. And some of them, like 4, we kind of get the theory that she's like very promiscuous and enjoying that.
And stuff.
So Sybil, we've learned, she's partaken in the promiscuous activities. And, but she doesn't find any enjoyment in it. And then she runs off with the one night, right? And then starts kissing him and like whatever. And then is like, I'm not feeling it, and like bails. And
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because I mean, she said she's been with men and women.
Hmm.
She's just very selective, and I guess has not had a good time either way.
She hasn't
Like,
had, yeah, she's
she
never,
hasn't had a good time.
Well, this last dude, I understood that because he was like, no one's gonna believe that I like
yeah, he was a douche.
did it with a diviner or whatever. And I was like, honestly, that kind of disappointed me because you seemed like you might be kind of a gentleman, and then you were like, just kidding.
He was a douche canoe. Douche in
He
the
was
canoe.
not awesome. I did not care for that. And then like, but Rory noticed because then he was like, you were just like
And then he was kind of hateful about it too.
he was.
He was
So
he's like, do you
do
have a
you
good
think,
time? In that 3 seconds.
right.
Oh, and then he punched him. Right?
Yeah.
Because he came
Yeah,
back with a
because of that
bruise.
black eye. Yeah.
Was it
that's-
Rory that did that?
Yes.
I think so because that's why the king was like, "Hey, let's do the challenge." It was like I felt like that was how I think he let Rory have that one shot on the other night, and then he was like, "This is how we're going to balance that." So now Rory's going to get challenged.
I also found it interesting that Rory suggested that Six kiss him
I know.
like the
I was
other
like, he
girl.
wanted to be kissed,
Yeah,
her. But not by 4, but by her.
it was kind of cute. Also, I'm interested in the sprites. I feel like we've been like, and I feel like the sprites are going to be a thing.
Yeah, because I mean, the knights are supposed to be making sure the sprites don't kill and cause a ruckus.
And
Yeah, the king's knights were tasked with defending the faith as well as they defended the hamlet against the sprites. That's what the abbot said anyway.
We're going to
What
get a
does she
sprite
know?
farm.
yeah, wouldn't it have been easier just to kiss me? And deny myself any pleasure? He smiled, startling us both. 1 and 4 lifted me off him. Night swept up around me. There was music, applause. When I looked back at Rory one last time, I felt like Island Cathedral itself. Yeah.
He knocked him on his ass.
She straight up trying to picture that though was pretty wild.
I pictured it like a wrestling move. Like she just
Yeah.
came in and just like picked him up and just
At the
bam.
legs and.
And then like came and did like the magic elbow.
What are you on? I love that. Yeah. I mean, are you guys liking it so far?
I'm loving it.
Yes.
I feel like it's written beautifully. The language is really gorgeous. I have had to look up some things. I did not know what a going flower was. They're just
Like a
daisies.
rowan flower.
But I
It's
was
just-
like,
it's
that's a fancy way to say it.
Fapping. What's rowan? What's his little bird?
He's a hawk, isn't he?
Hawk. I'm naming every bird of prey except for a
remember-
hawk.
Remember for the equinox when we were first doing the equinox, and we were originally going to have everybody like be a character, the cosplayers, and then we switched gears.
Mm-hmm.
But originally, Squamer I think was supposed to be Rowan, and then we just let Squamer be Squamer, which I feel like was probably the smarter move. But remember, there was like a whole period where we were going to get like a falconer.
Yes, I called
I think we
one.
should still do that.
And we were gonna have him have like release a hawk, as they do
Falcon.
at the Ren Fair. But like the hawk was gonna fly out, swoop over the crowd, come back, and like come behind like fly in between a curtain, close the curtain, and then when they open the curtain back up, bam.
It's
Squamer
Squamer.
is fine.
Honestly, wouldn't that have been so cool though?
Okay, it would have
Like-
been cool, but
That would
I
have
think
been
it's
really
still
cool.
on the table, right?
I can just see Squamer now. Like, I'm sorry. What is going to be flying at me? I mean, like, well, it won't fly at you. Like, it'll fly through there, and then you'll just. I might be wrong. What do I know? I'm just some girl.
we're all on a podcast.
Just some girl.
Just some girl
Sitting in a bookstore.
with another girl.
Asking
Just in a bookstore.
asking a girl to read a book with her.
I'm just a girl standing in front of sitting in front of the screen.
Asking everyone to
you
read
to
Night in the Moth.
subscribe. Asking you to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
I said that to several people today. I was like, find us on YouTube and like and subscribe.
We're not up yet. October 1st. Going back to the book question.
Sorry.
What's our next read? 200?
Oh,
What is it?
would it be the next 8 pages? It would be 16, right?
Yeah, I think that would be correct, right? Because we went by chapters. We did it by chapters, not by pages.
Because I think it's going to be 3 8s and 1 7, right? Because it's 31.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be to page 209.
So we're gonna read chapter 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to
Maybe
page.
we'll have some more answers. Some of our theories may be proven very wrong or very right.
I'm like, oh my god. Not me, like, what's happening?
We start taking bets. Be like a gambling ring. Did you just get a spoiler?
I think I did.
Oh my gosh, Catherine. Well, you're gonna keep it to yourself, just like that text message of
I don't know if it was a spoiler. I don't know if it was a spoiler, but I saw it and then I was like, wait, what? And then I wanted to look and then I was like, you know what? Nope. Nope.
I do like the system that we have going though, because I'm gonna say, so we're all like at
sounds
the
like
same
there's gonna
place
be a cliffhanger.
and we're on the same page. Because I remember when we were like, let's buddy read Enchantra. No, Phantasma. And you were like, let's read that together. And I was like, okay, open the book, chapter 1. And I'm like, I read like 2 chapters. And she's like, 2 days later, she's like, I finished. It was fantastic. And I was like, she's like, have you seen where they rain the blood?
I don't think I said that.
And I'm just like, I'm on chapter 4.
I don't think I said that. Maybe I did. I don't know. That did happen in the book. Anyway,
It was not a buddy read. It was just like a Catherine read it really fast, and then I had to scramble to catch up.
you were like, so hear me out.
Slow the hell
I
down.
will get to it
at some point.
at some point.
I was just in the middle somewhere. I don't know. I felt the
I
pressure.
but I was the last one to finish Quicksilver of the 3
Yeah,
of us.
that is true.
That's
That is
true.
I started early strictly because of
To be
Phantasm.
fair, I was the last one to start Quicksilver.
I started it like right away when you guys decided to read it because I fell so behind on Phantasma and you read it so fast. And so I was like, well, I'm apparently just the slowest reader on the planet. So I'm going to start it really early. So maybe we might finish at the same time. And then I loved it. I was like staying up at night reading it. I was like carrying it with me everywhere, like reading it everywhere I went. I got
I
really
feel like
into it.
Quicksilver is always going to make me think of Christmas, though, because I literally read that book by my Christmas tree. So I'm always going to, like, associate it with Christmas.
I'm excited for Brimstone to come out. I saw she was writing book 3 already, and I was like, yes.
I'm so freaking excited for Brimstone. What's today's date? Okay. I need to reread Quicksilver. So.
Well, we're gonna finish
Probably should
this,
too.
and we're gonna read Direbound right next. That's our next book
Okay.
that we.
I wasn't sure,
We
but
can
okay,
do a
we
quick.
can do that.
We're reading Direbound next, and then we need December. We could probably do Brimstone in December, and we could maybe like how many weeks are in December? Hold on.
We could do an episode that's just dedicated to like a Quicksilver recap.
Right. So there. Ooh. So we will have 1, 2, 3. We will have 5. Well, hold on.
Well,
Hold on.
the 31st
Because the
ends on a
31st.
Wednesday.
Yeah. The New Year's Eve is a Wednesday. So
I mean, I'm a loser. I don't do anything on New Year's Eve.
that's true. We could always
New
do
Year's
it.
Eve podcast.
We could.
Ooh, we could all have little hats.
Oh yeah.
That's cute. We could do. We could.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to
I
work.
don't like champagne, but we could drink something.
But we could get to get. We could like right after work. We could do
Yeah.
a little something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll have to work that day too. So.
Yeah, I should have the first off though.
Doesn't
And so
your
we-
dad always work New Year's Eve?
Oh, that's right. I usually close for New Year's Eve.
Your dad usually works it for a couple hours.
I thought that was Christmas Eve.
Oh,
We
maybe.
could do New Year's Eve too. Did I just say New Year's? New Year's Eve?
I'm not-
Either way, there's fine. So what I was thinking was, if we did do one on the 31st, then the third, because it's 1, 2, it's 5 Wednesdays. So if we did like the third, be like a recap of Quicksilver, and then we go over Brimstone,
yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
And then I'm thinking, I got a couple ideas. Hear me out. A couple ideas.
Okay.
One, House of Leaves.
Yes,
I feel like it's gonna take a few books before we hit
Yes.
House of Leaves.
Yes.
I don't know.
I also think it's going to be it'll be an adventure. It it might be a messy adventure, but it's
Well, I
going to
don't
be
even know how we're gonna read it.
How many?
Like, because it's not like you can just be like, let's
Stop.
read the first 100 pages because you're skipping around.
I think everybody just needs to do their thing and get through it. And we're going to discuss it.
How many chapters?
But also, as
I can't
people
track the
begin
house.
tuning in and engaging, I'm thinking we could do some polls and let some people pick what they'd like us to read and chat about.
I want you to just freaking hear this right now. House of Leaves does not have a fixed number of chapters, as its unconventional structure features 23 main chapters organized into several parts, but also includes a flexible and non-linear narrative with exhibits and appendices that function as narrative components. The novel is known for its complex layout, which includes a variety of textual elements beyond traditional chapters to create its unique reading experience.
So I don't think that we can really read that the same.
How
And
do
I
you-
feel like that
how-
is one book we could all read and get something completely different from it.
But I'm over here like, how do you do that then? Do you like how do you stop? Do you just read it in one? Is that why you go crazy? Because you have to read it in one sitting? It's like 7 days later. You're
But I
like,
think that might be the fun of it is if we all read it, we'll just set a time frame and we'll just all read a section. But we can read it however seems to work for us.
Okay.
And so then
Okay.
then
Okay.
you're
like, have you gotten to the part where there's just blank pages?
Have you got back?
it might be interesting because someone's going to be like, "Hey, I've been jumping around and I got this out of it." And someone else is going to read it straight through and be like, "Well, I got this out of it. And this is what I think's happening."
That thing is wild. Someone told me that it was the best book that they'd ever read. I had multiple people tell me that. Then I had someone say that it was the scariest book that they'd ever read. And they were like, and I read horror, and I was like, oh no.
I'm
So
excited.
I heard it's pretty.
I'm like excited for it. I'm also terrified for it. Like not terrified, but like it
Has this
intimidates
person
me.
Written anything else? Like, is this like their like magnum opus?
I don't know. I just feel like I remember when Leslie picked it up and I was like, "Have you read it?" And she's like, "No, but I'm thinking about starting it." And I was like, "Okay, good. I feel like you're smarter than me, so like you can tell me if I'm smart enough to read it." Because I bought it and was really excited for it, and then I opened it and I was like, "You know what? We're gonna set it aside. We're gonna come back to it."
I'm really nervous about it just because I like structure and I like to be able to figure things
author
out.
looks
I don't know if I'll be
scary.
able to figure it out.
Author looks scary.
No,
look
he
at
doesn't.
that.
No.
He reminds me
Show
of
the
like
crowd.
what?
Show the crowd.
He reminds me of like a.
I can't see it.
Doesn't he look like he's trying to like hunt down a white whale? Like,
You know what he kind of looks like? So remember in the original, I Know What You Did Last Summer? He looks like the fisherman.
but then there's
I see
other
that.
pictures that are like less.
He looks like someone who would have wrote House of Leaves.
Yeah. I'm sure he's lovely. That's not. He's widely known for his. House of Leaves was his debut.
It's a bold move.
Oh my
He
lord.
definitely broke all the rules.
Siblings, Poe.
Poe.
I'm like, as in Edgar Allan? Like, it just says Poe.
What? Poe.
That's his sibling, Poe.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's like a glare. I can't read it.
Can't see that. Movies? One of his movies is Poe. What is with the Poe? Maybe I need to do a deep dive on this one. Poe is a singer songwriter and record producer. I feel bad. I haven't heard that. Musical style is a blend of rock, jazz, electronica, folk, and hip hop elements.
So that's his sibling.
That's
Maybe
his-
he'll do our intro and outro. We should reach out.
Ooh.
Well, not after this. I'm over here talking like he's what?
You're like, so I know you look like a
I
serial
know what you
killer."
did last summer.
Like, I realized I said that you looked scary, but like, to be fair, you looked scary in that picture. But then, like, I'm looking at this, and like, he looks like just like a guy.
Like a dude.
So like, it's got to be the photographer.
Oh, he has
Well,
a
maybe
cat in that
it was
picture.
like on purpose.
How sweet.
Okay, but that
Look.
cat looks like it would kill somebody. Look at that. Look at the cat.
It's just he's just a little guy.
That's how all cats look.
Okay, it does look a little
They
demonic.
they all
That
wanna take
cat
over the
looks
world.
like it sees something and it's about to die.
It's like Pet
that's
Cemetery.
what.
It's like the sixth sense of cats. I see dead cats.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Maybe the cat's just like, not another picture.
Could be. Could be. Okay.
All right. So we will be reading the next 8 chapters, finishing up chapter 16 for our next episode, and have more thoughts, insight, unhinged series,
And snacks.
and snacks coming forward in our next episode. So be sure to like and subscribe and join us
And we invite you to bring your own tea and snack.
and snackies and anxiety. Bring that too. And hang.
Or, hang your anxiety at the door, friend.
And just have a good time.
Just have a good time.
Seeing everybody next week.
Bye.